Hello students, I hope you are all fine and in good health. In this audio presentation on related with long compositions, that is article writing, I will discuss few more important questions. So as you know, I discussed few questions in my previous audio presentation. In this audio presentation also I will discuss few more important questions with all of you. So let's get started. And the topics are very relevant. The topics that I will discuss, the topics are very relevant. Even some relevant topics earlier also I had discussed with you. So see the question, and it is a very important question. I will clarify the question first and then I will move on to the solution part. So let's come to the question first. India is standing at the threshold of joining the developed nations. We are not yet developed nation, we are a developing nation. So we are at the threshold. That means we are about to be a developed nation, but that is not possible till we achieve complete literacy in the country. Now, in order to be a developed nation, what we have to do is that we have to achieve complete literacy in the country. Everyone has to be educated, or rather to say in other words, everyone has to be literate. The contribution of students may be very significant in achieving our goals. Young students, the young budding minds of our country, they can actually play a very significant role in achieving our goals. And what is our goal? That 100% literacy rate. Write an article in 120 to 150 words on the role of the students in removing illiteracy. So the article will be related with that. That is the role of the students in removing illiteracy. Now how will we proceed? So at the very beginning, the heading or the title has to be given, the role of students in removing illiteracy, and after that you have to start again. Paragraph has to be given, and proper space among the paragraph is very important. See, as I have written here, I have done here. So let's get started, dear students. Illiteracy is still a major blot on India. Now illiteracy is a big negative factor of that is related with our country, because most of the people of our country are illiterate. So illiteracy is still a major flaw, or rather to say a major blot on India after more than 60 years of its achieving independence. After more than 60, after more than 70 we can say precisely, but still it seems that illiteracy is a major factor, and this is a major flaw, or rather to say a major blot on our country. To an extent, it exemplifies India's failure to reach out to its masses. Now, ultimately, it is a failure of the country as a whole. This illiteracy, ultimately, we can say it is the failure of the country as a whole to reach out to its masses. The removal of illiteracy has to be tackled on a priority basis, and students can play an important role in achieving this goal. So we have to tackle this disease of illiteracy as soon as possible. We have to combat this, and the young minds of our country, the young students, they can play a very decisive role, they can play a very pivotal role, or rather to say they can play a very important role in this, and they are the one who can make us, our country, proud by achieving this goal. This goal is only possible if they lead from the front, if they take the initiative. Since they are in the process of receiving education themselves, they are most appropriate for putting forth their services to achieve the goal of educating the illiterate masses, because they are the future of our country. So they have received education and they are receiving the higher education also. So if they take this responsibility on their shoulders to educate the illiterate masses, then obviously we can expect a bright future of our country in the years to come. Students should be encouraged to carry the lamp of knowledge by organizing events such as Each One Teach One. So obviously they can proceed by carrying the lamp of the lamp of knowledge by organizing events. What sort of events? Each One Teach One. It will be a novel initiative, and the students, they can actually play a very important role in this. Now, dear students, I am moving on to the next paragraph. If every student resolves to teach two illiterate persons in a year during his vacations or during his leisure time, it will, in the long run, help to eradicate illiteracy. Now, each one can teach one. If this particular scheme be taken in seriously into due consideration, and if every student during his or her vacation time or during his or her leisure time can take responsibilities on his or her shoulders that I will teach at least two illiterate person in a year, so it is a major step, it is a big step, and it will really help a lot to remove illiteracy. Not only that, the government should also render full support to students in terms of infrastructure in their contribution to the Indian literacy campaign. Obviously, the government, they should also come forward, they should also support these young students, they should motivate the young students also, and not only that, they can also initiate some reforms in improving the infrastructure so that the entire process can be smoothly conducted, and they should motivate the students also in undertaking this novel initiative. Then only our country, which is on the threshold of being a developed nation, can be a developed and a proud nation among all the nations in the world in the near future. But before that, and that to happen in reality, the students should take the responsibility on their shoulders to educate the illiterate masses. Students can also play a vital role in the program of adult literacy. So students, they can also play a very important role. They can also play a very important role in the program that is related with adult literacy. If all our students get together and try to work towards achieving literacy among the masses, then the day is not far when India too will join the League of Countries that have attained 100% literacy. Now, it is a far cry at this moment, but it will be, in reality, it is possible if the students, if they come forward and if they be very seriously dedicated to this noble service of educating the illiterate masses of our country. If each one of them take this responsibility on his or her shoulders, then obviously it might be a far cry now, but it is possible that our country can also proudly join the League of Nations or the League of Countries that have already attained 100% literacy. Our country can also achieve that. In order to make it successful, the students, they should play a very pivotal role. They should actually play a very prominent role in this. So dear students, that ends this question. Now I am moving on to question number 4. Question number 4 is also very important. See the question. And this question is related with corruption. And corruption is something very much familiar with our country. And so let us come to the question. Corruption has become the order of the day. Now, order of the day means in whichever place, in whichever nook and corner of our country we peep into, corruption will be there. There you will see corruption. Corruption has become a bread and butter incident. in terms of our countries, I mean social or economic, from whichever way we want to describe it, corruption is there. It has become very normal now, and it is the order of the day also. It has entered all walks of life. I already told you that it has become a bread and butter incident. It is there. Everywhere it is there. It is quite normal now, but it is very shameful to be corrupted. Write an article for your school magazine in 120 to 150 words on the role of youth in combating corruption. Combating means fighting it out, and finally defeating it. In combating, in fighting it out, in restricting or in protecting ourselves and others also from corruption. In fighting out corruption, what should be the role of youth, or we can say the young educated minds of our country? What should be their role in combating corruption? You are Vijay or Vinita? So this is the question. Now how will you proceed? Obviously, again, the heading should be given in the center. Role of youth in combating corruption, because this particular topic, the title you will get in the question only. And obviously see Vijay, Vinita, that one also you will find by Vijay or Vinita. Now how will you proceed? The problem of corruption is not new. I already told you that it is an age-old tragedy. It is an old disease. It is not a new one, but it is destroying the country from inside. It is eating out the country from inside, or devouring the vital things of our country from inside. Corruption must be stopped. And the youths, they should actually take the great initiative to combat corruption in order to save themselves and also others. So let me continue. The problem of corruption is not new. It is not new. It is something with which we are all very much familiar. Though it has reached unprecedented proportion in recent years. In recent years, it has raised itself to an alarming rate. Corruption, it has raised itself in recent years, it has raised itself to an alarming rate. It is as old as society itself. Now, corruption is as old. Corruption is as old as society itself, and cuts across nations, cultures, races, and classes of people. Now, it actually flows freely among nations, across cultures, races, and most importantly, among classes of people. Corruption is very much rampant, very much exists. Rampant means it is very much present. It very much exists in our political and social life, in our political and societal life existence or societal framework of our life. Corruption do exist, and like cancer seems to be growling into the vitals of the society. Just like cancer is something deadly, sometimes incurable, and leads to lethal, or rather to say leads to death also. Similarly, corruption is like cancer for the society. If society is like a human body, then corruption is the cancer that is destroying the human body, but not quickly, or rather to say not in a very fast manner, but slowly and slowly it is destroying the country. Just like cancer eats up a human being slowly and slowly, corruption is also like that. It has been argued that one of the many obstacles to the development of poor countries is corruption, and our country to that extent is a poor country. And one of the greatest obstacle for a poor country is corruption. So if a country is corrupted, then there is zero development and it remains poor and backward. So corruption has to be taken out, it has to be eradicated. it has to be successfully combated. Then only our country will emerge as a strong one in the face of the world. Otherwise, it will always lag behind as a developing nation. It won't be a developed one unless and until we stop this corruption process. Now, dear students, I am moving on to the next paragraph. See, it is written, the youth of the society have a lot of responsibility in combating corruption. So, youth should play a very important role. It should play a very decisive role in combating corruption. The youth are actually the future of our country. So, the youth should play a very important role in combating corruption. They are aware of this phenomenon but negligent towards this issue. Now the youths of this of our country, they are well educated, they are aware of this corruption, but it seems that they turn a deaf ear. That means they are negligent towards it or towards this issue that is related with corruption. It is the youth, especially the students, who have to take cudgels against the demon of corruption and crush it altogether. Now it is the youth who have to take the weapons against corruption to fight it out and finally to defeat it and to crush it once and for all altogether. So it is the youth who had to take weapons against the demon by the name of corruption and to demolish it in near future once and for all altogether. Now, dear students, I am moving on to the third and the final paragraph. A beginning can be made in this direction by holding anti-corruption drives. Now, obviously, how can we start our fight against corruption? Obviously, by organizing or by holding anti-corruption drives. The ill effects of corruption in public life should be publicized through the internet, Facebook, and blogs. Obviously, social media can play a very important role. So, issues of corruption or instances of corruption should be publicly exposed. And how it should be publicly exposed? With the help of blogs, with the help of internet, and definitely with the help of Facebook, the most powerful of the social media. So if corruption scenes are publicly exposed in the Facebook, in the blogs, or in the social media, then obviously it will be a big victory against corruption. The uprising young citizens need to join hands as one and battle against corruption. Yes, the young citizens of our country, they should be united. They need to join hands, then only they can fight it out. And we have to fight out corruption in a united way, in a united, unified manner, with a in a very united joint initiative or alliance we have to take on our part to combat or to defeat corruption. It should be fought together. They need to spread awareness, more so in rural areas, and equip them with knowledge about this burning issue. Now, obviously, the young students, they should actually expose the ill effects of corruption, not only in urban localities but also these ill effects of corruption should be spread in the rural localities or in the rural areas also. Recently, the name of Anna Hazare has become synonymous with combating corruption. So the youth of India have an idol among them whom they can follow. Anna Hazare came in the news because he fought against corruption. So the students or the younger generation can actually follow him as an idol, and they can they can combat corruption obviously by following his ideologies, because the name of Anna Hazare is very much synonymous with corruption. So obviously the students or the younger generation can actually follow him, can help, can actually use him as their idol, can actually follow him, emulate him as their idol, and they can move also in the right path to combat corruption in the near future. The dedicated efforts of the honest youth are bound to succeed. If the youths are dedicated, then obviously they are bound to succeed in the long run in demolishing and vanquishing. Vanquishing means to defeat, finally, to triumph over corruption. Vanquish is a term that is related with defeat. Vanquish. Vanquish this social malice. Evil actually means it is like a social malice. Malice, malice, which has earned us a bad name. Now we have to vanquish, we have to demolish this evil malice by the name of corruption, because corruption has literally given our country a bad name. It has tarnished our image, it has blotted our country among the other nations in the world. So corruption has to be defeated, it has to be demolished, it has to be vanquished at the earliest. Now, dear students, I am moving on to one more important topic. The question is very important, it is very relevant also. So, I continue with the question first. The question is, India is making strides in the field of technology. Strides means it is making a lot of advances or advancements, we can say, approach, positive approach in the field of technology, science and technology. Technology has made life easier. Technology, using of technology, our life has become faster, our life has become more easier, and not only it has become more easier, it has become more comfortable also than it used to be earlier. In comparison to the earlier time, now our life has become more easier. Not only that, our life has become more comfortable also. At the same time, people are turning to be more and more lazy and disease prone. But at the same time, despite our life has become more comfortable, more easier, but at the same time it has become lazy also, and we became disease prone also. Now we have to write an article in 120 to 150 words on the disadvantages of too much of technology. Now the important thing is that the word limit I have written 150 to 200, but you please make the correction, it will be 120 to 150. Now you have to write an article related with the disadvantages of too much technology. We are using technology, it is causing a lot of disadvantage. Now this article topic is based on that. Now how will you proceed? At the very beginning you will write disadvantages of too much technology, then you have to write by ABC, or you can give any other name. Now you have to start. So how will you start? India has made rapid strides, I have said advancements, positive approach, we can say, in the technological field, in the field of science and technology. Our country had made a lot of advancements. Technology has made our life more easygoing and comfortable than ever before. Technology has really made our life easy and comfortable. But this comfort bestowed on us through technological advancements is doing us more harm than good. But actually, it is doing us more harm. These technological advancements, no matter it has made our life easier and comfortable, but it is doing us more harm than good. Now, let us move on to the next paragraph. In the 21st century, technology has evolved to accommodate a more convenient lifestyle and meet every need that could possibly need fulfilling. Now, in the 21st century, with an upgradation in the field of science and technology, we are living a more sophisticated life, a very smooth and a convenient lifestyle we are following. And it seems that our every desires, every needs are getting fulfilled. With the right kind of technology in your home, you might just never feel the need to even leave your bed. If you have the right kind of sophisticated technology in your own home, or to say more precisely, if you have the upgraded sophisticated technology in your room also, you might not feel eager to leave your bed also. Our entire lifestyle has slowly but steadily been completely taken over by technology. Now, unknowingly, we don't realize this simple but very powerful fact that technology, it has taken full control of our life. Unknowingly, we don't realize it, but it is true that technology has taken full control of our life. This is having an adverse effect. Adverse means, dear students, it is having a negative effect. So I repeat, this is having an adverse effect on our well-being. It is having a negative impact. It is having a negative effect on our well-being. We have become lazy and disease prone, and sadly for us, that we have become lazy, and not only we have become lazy, we have become disease prone also. We don't like to work hard as we used to do earlier, in the earlier times. We have become very lazy. Our life, I mean, the sophisticated advanced technology that had overpowered us in such a way, taken full control of our life in such a way, that we have now become very very lazy. And not only we have become lazy, we have become disease prone also at the same time. Now, dear students, I am moving on to the last paragraph. Modern technology has given us everything we want. Whatever pleasures of life we want, modern technology has given us everything. Whenever we want, and more than we actually need, with the result that we have become a weak society. Now, it seems that not only it fulfill all our demands, or it is fulfilling our demands, but in some cases it is giving us more than what we actually need. And thus, instead of becoming a strong society, we have nowadays become a weak society. Unlike the older generation, modern day children do not have the space and freedom of moving about and end up cramped in front of their computers and video games. The children of the older generation, they were super active, they were proactive. But the modern generation children, sadly to say, they end up in a particular room, sitting near their computer or laptop, and engaged in computer games or other indoor activity, video games or other indoor activities. They don't like to have the enjoyment and freedom of going or venturing outside, just like the children of the older generation they used to do. Nowadays the children, they cramped, or they sit in front of their computers and video games, and they spend hours and hours in that instead of going outside. This sedentary lifestyle of living causes the child to be antisocial, and the child becomes antisocial because of this sedentary lifestyle, thus making him socially weak. And as a result, the most negative thing that happened is that the child had become socially very weak. Also, there is added risk of obesity for less locomotion and no movement as such, because he sits on a chair in an AC room and goes on playing computer games or video games, or indulging in social media or any sort of indoor activities without going outside. And thus he became lazy because of less movement of the body, or because of less locomotion. He became a person who is having obesity at a very young age. He is prone to gain overweight, become overweight, and thus he is prone to obesity. And sometimes he, the children or the child become obese also at the same time. Obesity happens at a very young age also. because there is low locomotion or no body movement as such. A sedentary lifestyle coupled with wrong food habits, even they don't have the right food habits also, its wrong food habits has made us prone to illness, and ultimately sedentary lifestyle, no locomotion, that leads to obesity, even irregular sleeping habits that I already mentioned earlier also. Apart from that, unhealthy lifestyle, unhealthy food intake or food consumption, ultimately all these factors lead to illness. Though technology has greatly contributed to human development, it has its flip side, and it is adversely affecting our health. Now, though technology has contributed a lot, it had made us far more advanced and gave us more luxury than we had ever dreamed of. But apart from that, it had its flip side also, just like a lamp. Though it looks very bright enough and shining, but on the bottom of it there is still darkness. Beneath the lamp there is darkness. Outside it looks very glowing and it is full of brightness, but beneath the lamp there is darkness. Similarly, technology has its flip side also, though positive thing is that there is human development, but in its flip side there is some negativity, and that negativity is adversely affecting our health to a great extent. Okay, students, so I end my audio lecture session related with article writing. I had discussed three important topics in this particular audio lecture presentation. Please listen to this audio lecture presentation. I know it is a bit lengthy one. It will take some time for your patient hearing, but if you hear it, it will clear up your concept regarding article writing. So I hope, dear students, that you will listen to it, and if there is any doubt anywhere, do let me know about it. Thank you, students. Thank you all.